to a new session of Signatures class. I hope all of you fine. In the previous class, we discussed about Chernobyl nuclear disaster, Vasily Ignatenko, the fireman, and his wife Lyudmila Ignatenko. Let's move to the life. Lyudmila says, "We were newly weds. We still walked around holding hands even if we're just going to the store. I would say to him, 'I love you,' but I didn't know how much. I had no idea." These words indicates their love, their intimacy. They lived in the dormitory of the fire station where Vasily worked. So she always knew what was happening, where he was, how he was. All unseen soon. One night they heard a noise. Ludmila looked out of the window. Vasily saw her. Then he said, "Close the window and go back to sleep. There's a fire at the reactor. I will be back soon." She didn't see the explosion itself, just the flames. She said everything was radiant. Radiant means shining. Everything shining, that means fire. Everywhere fire. The whole sky, a tall flame and smoke. The heat was awful. Awful means unpleasant. The heat was horrible. We can understand the situation through her words. They unaware about the situation. They had no previous experience. They unknown about how to handle the situation. They went off just as they were in their shirt sleeves. Nobody told them what it was. They unaware about the consequences of the radiation from the nuclear reactor. They had been called for a fire. അതുകൊണ്ട് തന്നെ സാധാരണ ഡ്രസ്സിലായിരുന്നു അവർ തീ അണയ്ക്കാൻ പോയത്. ഒരു വിധത്തിലുമുള്ള പ്രൊട്ടക്ഷൻ അവർക്കുണ്ടായിരുന്നില്ല. നെക്സ്റ്റ് മോർണിംഗ് Ludmila knows Vasily in the hospital. She ran over there. But the police had encircled it. But they were not letting anyone in. The policeman shouted, "The ambulances are radioactive. Stay away." Ludmila grabbed the white coat of the doctor, who was a friend, when she came out of the ambulance. Ludmila begged the doctor to let her in. The doctor told Ludmila she could spend only 15 or 20 minutes. The scene was really terrifying. Vasily was all swollen and puffed up. We could hardly see his eyes. Ludmila's doctor friend told her that he needs milk. They should drink at least 3 liters each. Vasily did not like milk, so Ludmila told her he did not like milk. But doctor said he will drink it now. Many of the doctors, nurses and orderlies would get sick themselves and would die. But they did not aware about the crucial situations. In that day, at 10 o'clock, cameraman Shishnok died. He was the first person. Ludmila asked Vasily what she should do. He told her to go away as she was pregnant. That time Ludmila was pregnant. Ludmila told Vasily she had to get him some milk and then I would decide what to do. Ludmila's friend Tanya Kipanok came running in. Her husband was in the same room. Her father was with her. He had a car. They got down and drove to the nearest village. They bought 6 3-liter bottles, so that here was enough for everyone. But they started vomiting after drinking the milk. They had to put on IVs. The doctors kept telling them they had been poisoned by gas, but no one said anything about the radiation. Ludmila could not get into the hospital that evening because there was a huge crowd. They were being taken to Moscow that night. All the wives wanted to go with their husbands, but the soldiers pushed them back. The plane had gone to Moscow without wives. കൂടുതൽ ട്രീറ്റ്മെൻറ്റിനായി പേഷ്യൻസിനെ മോസ്കോയിലോട്ട് കൊണ്ടുപോയി. Ludmila was 6 months pregnant, but she had to get to Moscow. Hospital number 6 at Shukinsky stop was a special hospital for radiology. Chernobyl firemen had put in that hospital.
Ludmila gave some money to the woman at the door, and she got into the office of head radiologist Angelina Veslovna Guskova. She asked her if she had kids. She told her that she had two children, a boy and a girl. She knew that if I said I was pregnant, she would not let her in. വാസിലിയോടുള്ള സ്നേഹം കൊണ്ടാണ് ലുദ്മില പ്രഗ്നൻ്റ് ആണെന്നുള്ള കാര്യം മറച്ചു വയ്ക്കുന്നത്. പ്രഗ്നൻ്റ് ആണെന്ന് അറിഞ്ഞു കഴിഞ്ഞാൽ ലുദ്മിലേനെ ആ ഹോസ്പിറ്റലിലേക്ക് പ്രവേശിപ്പിക്കില്ല. ഹസ്ബൻഡിനെ കാണാനും സാധിക്കില്ല. ഡോക്ടറുടെ എത്ര കുട്ടികളുണ്ട് എന്ന ചോദ്യത്തിൽ നിന്ന് വ്യക്തമാണ് മനുഷ്യ ശരീരത്തിന് എന്തുമാത്രം ഹാനികരമാണ് ന്യൂക്ലിയർ പവർ എന്നുള്ളത്. Doctor said to Ludmila, Vasily's central nervous system and his skull has problems. She also added, if you start crying, I will kick you out right away. No hugging, no kissing. Don't even get near him. You have half an hour. Ludmila agreed the conditions. Our poor Ludmila, unknown about the radiation consequences and her true love for Vasily, makes her to take the risk. അരമണിക്കൂറാണ് ഡോക്ടർ ലുദ്മിലയ്ക്ക് വാസിലിയോടൊപ്പം ചെലവഴിക്കാൻ അനുവദിച്ചത്. പക്ഷേ ലുദ്മിലയ്ക്ക് ഉറപ്പായിരുന്നു താൻ ഉടനെയൊന്നും പോകുകയില്ല എന്ന്. അഥവാ പോകുമെങ്കിൽ അവനുമായിട്ടേ പോവുകയുള്ളൂ എന്ന ഉറച്ച തീരുമാനത്തിലായിരുന്നു ലുദ്മില. She went in. They are sitting on the bed playing cards. Vasily sees Ludmila. He looks so funny, as he was wearing pajamas for a size 48 and he is a size 52. 52 സൈസുള്ള വാസിലി ഇട്ടിരിക്കുന്നത് 48 സൈസുള്ള പൈജാമയാണ്. അതുകൊണ്ട് തന്നെ അവനെ കാണുമ്പോൾ ഫണ്ണി ആയിട്ടാണ് ലുദ്മിലയ്ക്ക് തോന്നിയത്. His face was not swollen anymore. They were given some sort of fluid. എന്തോ ഒരു ദ്രാവകം കൊടുത്തതുകൊണ്ട് വാസിലിയുടെ മുഖത്തെ നീരെല്ലാം പോയിട്ടുണ്ടായിരുന്നു. Vasily wanted to hug Ludmila. The doctor would not let him. Others from the other rooms came, all from prepared. There were 28 of them on the plane. Ludmila wanted to be with him alone, if only for a minute. The others felt it and they went away into the hall making some excuse. Ludmila then hugged him and kissed him. The next day, when Ludmila came, they were lying by themselves, each in his own room. They were banned from going to the hall and talking to each other. The doctors explained that everyone's body reacts differently to radiation and what one person can handle, another can't. They measured the radiation in the rooms. All the patients from the floor below and above were moved out. Vasily started to change. Every day Ludmila met a brand new person. The burns started to come out to the surface. In his mouth, on his tongues, his cheeks. The skin came off in layers. The color of his face and body changed to blue, red, grey, brown. It is impossible to describe them and get over them. It happened so fast that she did not even have time to cry. In 14 days, a person dies. It was the 9th of May. Vasily used to tell Ludmila that Moscow was especially beautiful on V Day, when they set fireworks. Vasily wanted Ludmila to see it. Ludmila was sitting in Vasily's room. He opened his eyes and asked Ludmila if it was day or night. Ludmila told him it was 9 at night. He asked Ludmila to open the window as they were going to set off the fireworks. Ludmila opened the window. They were on the 8th floor. There was a bouquet of fire exploding in the air. Vasily asked her to look at that. He reminded her that he had promised to give her flowers on holidays. He got 3 carnations from under his pillow. Ludmila had given the nurse money and she had bought them for him. She kissed him, saying, "My love, my only love." Vasily asked her if she forgot the doctor's instruction not to hug or kiss him. Vasily's condition was so bad, she could not leave him even for a second. He was calling Ludmila constantly. In the other rooms, the patients were attended to by soldiers who did everything as the orderlies refused to do their job of cleaning the place and carrying the sanitary vessels. Every day they heard that somebody was dead. Vasily was passing stool 25 to 30 times a day with blood and mucus. He became covered with boils. When he turned his head, there would be a clamp of hair on the pillow. റേഡിയേഷൻ്റെ എഫക്റ്റായിട്ട് വാസ്ലിയുടെ മുടിയെല്ലാം നന്നായി കൊഴിഞ്ഞിരുന്നു. Ludmila tried joking, saying that he would not need a comb. Soon they cut all their hair. ലുദ്മിലയാണ് വാസ്ലിയുടെ മുടി വെട്ടിയത്. If it was possible, she would have stayed with him all day and all night. Ludmila heard someone saying, "You have to understand, this is not your husband anymore, but a radioactive object with strong density of poisoning. You are not suicidal?" ഇത് കേട്ടപ്പോൾ ലുദ്മിലയ്ക്ക് ഭ്രാന്ത് പിടിക്കുന്നത് പോലെ തോന്നി. പോകുന്നിടത്തെല്ലാം ഐ ലവ് യു എന്ന് പറഞ്ഞുകൊണ്ടിരുന്നു. അവരുടെ ഗാഢമായ സ്നേഹമാണ് ഈ വരികളിലെല്ലാം നമുക്ക് കാണുന്നത്. One night everything was quiet. They were alone. Suddenly Vasily said, "I want to see our child. How is he?" Ludmila asked him what name he should be given. He said, "I could decide it myself." Then he said, "If it is a boy, he should be Vasya, and if a girl, Nadasha." Ludmila thought that the little one inside her was protected. And then the last thing. She was sitting near him at night at 8. Ludmila said, "Vasant, I'm going for a little walk." He opened his eyes and closed them, letting her go. She went to the room of her hotel. She lay down on the floor as she could not lie on the bed because it hurt too much. The cleaning lady came and said, "Go, run to him. He is calling for you like mad." She called the nurse and asked how he was. She said, "He died 15 minutes ago." She ran down the stairs. He was still in his biochamber. She escorted him to the cemetery. He was in a plastic bag. At the morgue, they dressed him up in formal wear with his service cap. They could not put the shoes because his feet had swollen up. They had to cut up his formal wear because they could not get him into it. During the last 2 days in the hospital, pieces of his lungs and his liver were coming out of his mouth. She would wrap her hand in a bandage and put it in his mouth and take out all that stuff. They buried him barefoot. Everyone came, his parents and her parents. They told them they could not give the bodies to them because they were very radioactive and they would be buried in a Moscow cemetery in a special way, in sealed zinc caskets under cement tiles. They had to sign a document. If anyone insisted on taking the body home, they were told that the dead persons no more belonged to their families, but to the state, as they were heroes of the state. The next day, they were given plane tickets to return home. At home, she fell asleep. She slept for 3 days. An ambulance came. Doctor said she will wake up. It is just a terrible sleep. Ludmila was 23. 2 months later, she went back to Moscow, to the cemetery to him. At the cemetery, she went into labor. It was 2 weeks before she was due. They showed baby to Ludmila. "Nadashanka," she called out. She looked healthy, arms, legs, but she had cirrhosis of the liver. Nadashanka's liver had 28 rondogen, congenital heart disease. 4 days later, they told Ludmila she was dead. Again, they told her that they would not give her body to Ludmila. നടാശങ്കയുടെ ശരീരവും റേഡിയോ ആക്റ്റീവാണ്. അതുകൊണ്ടാണ് നടാശങ്കയുടെ ശവശരീരം വിട്ടുകൊടുക്കാത്തത്. In Kiev, they gave Ludmila an apartment. It was in a large building where they put everyone from the atomic station. It is a big apartment with 2 rooms, the kind Vasya and Ludmila had dreamed of. നഷ്ടപരിഹാരം എന്ന രീതിക്ക് ഒരു അപ്പാർട്ട്മെൻറ്റ് ലുദ്മിലയ്ക്ക് ലഭിച്ചു. ആറ്റോമിക് സ്റ്റേഷനു വേണ്ടി മരിച്ചവരുടെ ആശ്രിതർ താമസിച്ചിരുന്നത് അവിടെയാണ്. വളരെ അധികം ആളുകൾ അവിടെ താമസിച്ചിരുന്നു. The street is called Chernobylskaya. Those people worked at the station their whole lives. A lot of them still go there on a professional basis. No one lives there anymore. They have bad diseases. They are invalids. They don't leave their jobs. They are scared to even think of the reactor closing down. Who needs them now anywhere else? Often they die. In a minute, they just drop, someone will be walking. He falls, goes to sleep. He was carrying flowers for his nurse and his heart stopped. They die. But no one really asked them. No one has asked what they have been through, what they saw. No one wants to hear about death. It scares them. അവരോട് ആരും തന്നെ ഒന്നും ചോദിക്കുന്നില്ല. അവർ കണ്ട ദുരന്ത കാഴ്ചകളെപ്പറ്റി ദുരിതങ്ങളെപ്പറ്റിയൊന്നും ആരും തന്നെ ആരായുന്നില്ല. ആർക്കും മരണത്തെപ്പറ്റി കേൾക്കണ്ട. എല്ലാവർക്കും മരണത്തെ പേടിയാണ്. പക്ഷേ മരണത്തെ മുഖാമുഖം കണ്ട അവരുടെ ജീവിതം ആരും തന്നെ അറിയപ്പെടാതെ പോവുകയാണ്.
I think all of you understand about the horrible situation faced by Chernobyl. It's time to stop. Thanks for watching me. Have a good day. Keep safe and healthy.